Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of my brand new IKEA PAX hack storage series. If you missed part 1, I uploaded it last week. It's a full step-by-step on how to build extra storage into the base of your PAX wardrobe, so do give that a watch if you haven't already. Today we're taking things a step further. I'll be showing you just how straightforward it is to frame your PAX wardrobe with MDF and achieve that bespoke fitted look without breaking the bank. Honestly, it's much simpler than you think, and I'll walk you through exactly how to measure up, plan, cut and attach everything along with a few tips to really get the high-end finish. I get loads of questions about my IKEA PAX wardrobe hacks. I've got quite a few on my channel already, and so many of you have asked about this part of the design process. I thought it deserved its own dedicated video. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit subscribe. I share IKEA hacks and makeovers every week, so you won't want to miss out on what's coming up. So I've drawn it all out, roughly, but I do like to use squared paper so I can take my book with me. And it's also quite handy because I have just read through my last wardrobe hack, which is the second one, I believe, this one, so I can see what I did before with all the different bits. And I've also got well, all the information is a lot on that one, and then the IKEA one there. So it is full, this book, of 5 of my favourite hacks and all the bits and painting and how to design anyway. And then at the back there's these 5 sheets which I'm using. So this is the layout. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to be using 18mm MDF. The reason I'm doing it is these are the Farlov doors. They are 19mm deep. So we use the 18mm, then it allows a little bit for the glue to put it in place. You've got a bit of wiggle room. So basically the idea is that I've built a frame. So this is the first time I'm doing it open end. Normally it's in like an alcove. So there'd be a frame here, frame here, frame here, made out of pine across the top, round, and you basically just stick it on. You're basically hiding the bits you've used to make the frame. That's the idea. So as you look at it, it looks fitted in. So I will measure the width and the depth here and get a piece cut. I'll do the same on the end here. I'm actually going to put a big piece stuck on the end and then put a small strip at the front just so it looks more fitted in, and then I'll put a strip down here. Now I get asked a lot of questions about should I leave a gap for the door. The doors on IKEA actually open outwards. Let me show you. I'm actually going to show you on my wardrobe. So these are my wardrobes where I have a piece in the middle, and if you just look at the end, you'll see how the wardrobe door goes in, so it doesn't overhang. So it goes like that, effectively, until the door opens super easily. And you can kind of see here as it opens, it kind of almost comes forward and then sits flush. So there's no issue at all with putting a frame right up against it, and I get asked that so much. So I'm going to measure. You'll notice here I've got the base of this unit here. Now I suppose if you really wanted, you could trim that down a little bit. I haven't. It's all secured to the wall. It's all secured and it's level. That's the most important thing. So the bits of wood I'm going to be getting are a piece of wood for the front here. I've done this before. I've done this downstairs in my office. I attached it to the front and I just went for 18mm all over it just because it's easy with the door. I think it's about £30 for a big sheet, so it's not mega money. You can also get wood cut online. If you haven't got a B&Q near you, there are lots of different places. If you just Google MDF cut to size, there's plenty of places and they'll arrive. So I'm going to measure pieces. So I've got to put pieces down the side here, pieces across the front. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to measure it all out and then I'll show you all laid out once. Right, so how I do my measuring is very simple. I'll just draw out basically here wardrobe number 1, wardrobe number 2, and then here's the bottom bit. What I've actually decided I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the drawer fronts right forward, and I'm not going to be sticking anything on the front of these doors. You can if you want to. I'm just not doing it because it'll make it really thick, and I've decided not to do it. So I'm not getting any wood for these front bits, but the wood I'm getting some strips to go in the middle, on the side. If you were doing the frame at the top, you'd measure a piece at the top as well, and then a piece along the bottom, a piece along here, and then there'd be some small bits to fill in the gap. So what I do is I'll measure twice, and then write down here and then number them. So these are the sizes I'm going to be doing. So they're actually all 206 in length, and then there's different widths. So I will get them to cut down. The normal size is 2.4 or 2440 mil by 1220 mil. So they are actually I'm going to get them to cut them down all to 206. And then if I trim them slightly, I can. And then I number them with the width. So we've got 10.5 centimeters, 8 centimeters, 11, 3.5, 5, and 2.5. And then I'll number them so I know exactly where they're going. I'd recommend actually measuring them in the shop, and so you can double check that they are doing it just as you want. And then I will transfer this measurement onto a piece of A4 paper, because I'll keep this in my book, and give it to them at the ball cutting machine. And then I just do a bit of working out just to make sure I only have to buy one sheet, and I always end up with loads of spares. But this big fat bit, I generally won't bring this home, but if I've got some spare thin bits, I will bring this home. You can leave it with B&Q, you don't get a discount if you don't take it. It's just whether or not you're really going to use it, and I've got nowhere to store big bits of MDF. So that's how I do it. So I measure it out like this, work out all the bits, and then when I write them down, I number them. So when they actually do them on the ball cutting machine, I'll write the numbers on it. And it's as simple as that. So the ball cutting machine is, if you're a normal B&Q customer, first 5 cuts are free, then it's 50p. If you're a Trade Point customer, first 15 cuts are free, and then it's 50p. So I'm a Trade Point customer, so I get it for free. In order to be a Trade Point customer, you need to be a business owner or have a business card, and you can just sign up online, and then you don't pay for ball cutting unless it's over 15. So that is how I do it. So off to the shop, and let's get this wood cut, shall we? Okay, all the bits are back. I always label them up as well and write the sizes on, and always, if I can fit them in the car, spares, so I've got a nice long off cut. So I get them cut just in long strips, which are 2440, and I trim them down myself. So this piece number 4, this one is going to be no, let's do number 5. Number 5 is this one. So number 5 is going to be going along this bottom here, slightly up, and then skirting board going in front. So I get them full length, and then I mark them down, and then I'll just trim them down with my cutter myself. That way I get them super level, and you can get them cut exactly as you want, but that's just the way I like to do it. So that's that bit there, trim that down, and then I've got number 4, which is going to go, if I can do it one-handed, it's going to go across there. I need to get a piece of pine, secure it in the middle, and then I've got strips. I'm going to get the pine bit in the middle here, so it's got something to attach to, and then I'm going to get, using no more nails, definitely order this online. I'll link where I normally buy it from. It's £6 each in B&Q, and normally you can buy a pack of 3 for about the price of 2, for about 10-11 quid. So I'll link that if they're on special offer. But I just do a combination of just no more nails for lighter bits, but if it's a heavier bit, I may put in some nails or screws just to secure it, and then I'll fill over the top just along this bottom bit, because it will glue quite well across here. But I think if I just tack in some screws, tack them right in just to hold it a little bit, make it a bit more secure, and then I can just fill it. So I'm going to get on with it, because I made a bit of an error. Well, I didn't. I had a bit of a saga, and I went to B&Q. They started to say they couldn't cut under 50 mils, and it's like I've had, I don't know how many cut smaller. So they were didn't really want to cut my wood for me, my MDF. Sort of did it, I got back, they've cut 2 pieces completely wrong. And the thought of driving all the way back to Slough, which is where my nearest one is, I'm not going to do. The issue I've had is I put the doors on after I put the frame on, because I like lots of space, and the doors wouldn't shut because they were too big. So I'm going to have to do a bit of fiddling. So in the real world, you would start at the bottom and you'd have a strip that goes across there. It's about 10cm gap. Wires underneath, I've just used pine. I've used the same pine that I've used on the base. Basically, there's one piece running up the middle, and then all I do is basically screw it together. Because you can't use the fittings that IKEA give you to attach them together, I just screw a few places, so that holds that solidly. Obviously, I have secured these to the wall using the IKEA fittings. Always do that. Then I put a piece down the side, and again, but that one I've screwed all the way through the wall with raw plugs as well, so it's really secure on that side. And then you can see I've put the MDF in front, and then we're just left with this end bit. I've got a video on my channel for a basic base. If you literally just want to raise it up and run your skirting board across the front, that is the point of having a base. You don't need to have a base, you just put it on the ground. But if you want to run the skirting board, that is why I build a base. So I've got a video on my channel about that. And then there is a new video, obviously, if you want to put hidden drawers in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to muck around putting this on. I use a combination of No More Nails. I will also insert a picture. I'm very proud of myself. When I went to America recently, I made a point of going to the DIY section and finding what the equivalent is called in America, which is liquid nails. So that's what you use if you are in America, or if you're in a different country, equivalent of those two. And then sometimes I use pins. If you've got a nail gun, you could use that, or you can screw in. Obviously you've got to screw all the way in and then fill the gaps. So use whatever you feel comfortable using. Anything's fine, as long as you do a bit of sanding, which I have done over there because I had to cut it slightly because I didn't take the skirting boards off. I didn't take the skirting boards off because this is a 1950s house, and if I try and take that off, the whole wall will come with it. So I didn't bother. So I'm going to attach this bit and then I'll show you when I've done it. Doors are on. Everything's dry. Actually, it's actually the next day. I let it dry overnight. I put some filler in all the little bits as well. The filler I like to use is this one. I really like the quick drying ones. I think it's just so much better. So I left it overnight, and then I will go across it again. And then I do now use, previously I just used sanding paper. I will use this sander and sand it down and get it super smooth. And then if I'm not happy, I'll put a little bit more on again and then sand again, because I like to get the joins all nice and smooth. So my pine bit is on very nicely, and I'm not worried about this line here because I'd always planned to put a strip across here. So I'm going to put it across that line right there. Okay, so I am done with the framing. I've been round again and done some more filling and sanding. I've just done another little bit there as well. And it is done and ready. And ignore the fact I've started sticking things on the doors. That's going to be on the next video. I'm going to do a whole video about how to measure and line up and the little trick I do because it's to make it super, super easy. So the frame here, obviously no frame at the top, but I would just mention if you are putting a frame at the top, like my videos, to then put coving on, all you would do is make a rectangular frame like the base, slide it across the top and attach it, and then you would have a base to put your MDF on. Or if you were just doing an alcove frame, and then you would attach your MDF on. So you could just put a strip, which is what I did on my wardrobe, strip across the top, and then the MDF just sits against it, and then you would put your coving on the top. So that's the easy way to do that, but I'm not, obviously, because my walls are completely wonky. So I'm going to get on with visual this. So I'll link everything in the description box. I'll link the free ebook I've got as well if you need some more tips and stuff about how to plan and everything. And I'll also pop a link to my planner, which you can either buy on Amazon or you can do an instant digital download. So I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, because part 3 coming very soon. It will be how to add the cladding, how to get it all so it looks neat and professional, and also the painting and the finishing and getting the handles on will be in the final video coming up very soon. So thank you very much for watching. Do check out my other videos on my channel if you want step-by-step on other wardrobes that fit different areas of your home. And thank you for watching, and I shall see you on the next video. Ever looked at IKEA furniture and thought, I can make that better? Well, now you can. The IKEA Hackers DIY Handbook is your ultimate guide to transforming ordinary furniture into extraordinary pieces like me. From planning to execution, I'm sharing all my best hacks and design secrets to help you create the home of your dreams. Get ready to hack your home in 2025. Just click the link below to grab your copy.